Hi, good morning. I finally got chapter 21 done. So I'm very happy about that. And obviously I'm happy that, this is getting connected. Um I didn't get all 10 pages that I needed to do done yesterday, but I think I can make up for that today. Um Not sure yet, but like the chapter that I'm working on chapter 22. And um it's only got like a page and a paragraph left. So then I could work on the next chapter and yeah, it'd be good. So in case you were watching any of my videos yesterday, I did actually find the blue chest in Dreamlight Valley yesterday, and um and I found the day before yesterday's blue chest, and then I found the one that I was supposed to be finding yesterday and later that evening. So I did find that out, and I was able to do a little bit of um I did a tiny bit of putting stuff away and a lot bit of um plantable rearranging because I harvested the one thing and then put something else in, and trying to get like super organized to where I've got um to where I got all of the back row, so they're mostly A's. um I know there's asparagus, apples, bananas, beetroot on there, but and bell peppers, but I can't really remember the whole list. But if I can plant enough of everything that I could have the 20 floors done with a full chest, that would help. Um, and okay, so I was watching somebody's video, and it's like they were saying that they don't have an efficient way to get things into their storage area, and it's like, dude, use the enter chest. That's not what they call it on Dreamlight Valley, but because Minecraft already took it. But it's like if you use the ender chest, you can get it done pretty dang fast. Oh, I was gonna say, I don't know why somebody that's afraid of heights would be on the Ferris wheel, but that's not him. That's see, I've got a lot of Pop's Disney Adventures videos yet to be watched, so I put them all at the beginning, and that's something I need to do today too, is catch up on the YouTube videos. So the page I was working on yesterday, I was working on a lot of pages yesterday, but the last page I was working on, Chantel says that she's gonna give, Sean a massage, and Jesse's kind of like, a massage, okay, is like, he's kind of thinking, not my massage. She goes, not your massage. And he goes, okay, but no lines crossed. No going into, his kind of massage territory. And she's got this move to where she can go and like, press his neck just right or something like that. So he falls asleep. And, that's all it's supposed to do. It's not supposed to kill him or anything. I mean, unalive him. It's not supposed to do anything like that. It's just supposed to put him asleep. Oh yeah, I was explaining that to somebody yesterday. Because in the wonderful world of vocabulary, okay, so there's put your cat to sleep. That means that they're not going to wake up. They're not coming back. Now, if they got put asleep, that means they're going to wake up and still be, play with the bolt again. I use cat because A, I have cats, and B, the video that I was watching yesterday triggered it. Apparently, there's a cat named Kurt on the internet, and his dad is Abram. His owner is Abram. So apparently Abram doesn't like going to the doctor, and neither does Kurt. I don't know why, I don't know why I started watching their videos, but I like them. Like there has to be something that triggered it. Like maybe the dinosaur that they had. I don't know. Or have. They love that dinosaur. It's like a dinosaur. I mean, it's like a cat tree and a dinosaur at the same time. So you're probably thinking that if I wanted to, I could probably TNT some of this. But actually, doing the TNT thing makes it a little harder because it's not all solid. I was pretty happy yesterday because I was like doing Dreamlight Valley and my story at the same time. Just got to a point where I didn't want to do it. I did not do that, by the way. That just kind of spawned there. Well, fine. Let's do it this way then. Oh. This was, we were trying to save a chicken? Yeah. Pretty sure it was a chicken. And for a while there, he did not want to be saved. And then... And then he finally went up the stairs and it was all good. Okay, so I like Chandelier by Pity Party. The other thing I was gonna say is not the name of the song. And for some reason that just popped into my head. Yeah, I'm like, I've got nothing to talk about because that's all I've been working on is my story. And we'll figure out something. You know, like, normally somebody has something to talk about and they're definitely going to talk about that thing. And, you know, it's all scripted and pretty and, you know, it feels scripted because they're like, you know, reading from a thing and even though they're making it sound really awesome, you can kind of tell that they, you know, scripted it out and okay. Yeah, you can kind of tell that they scripted it out. Well, me, you get whatever pops into the, you know, whatever pops into my head and sometimes I just don't have anything. Not that I'm like, you know, like dim-witted or something like that. And it's just, you know, like if I've got nothing that I really want to talk about, you know, can't help that. Yeah, and because of my husband, I'm serious, and because of my husband, I am sensitive about how many times I say in one video. They had a see, there I go again. Um they had a motivational speaker, the one that's supposed to give you a pep talk, you're not going to be in high school anymore, and, you're going to have to go out there and get a job, and, all that stuff. And they used the words, so, in other words, and it was just, in other words, in other words, in other words, in other words. And I don't know where they get these speakers from. Mine said and and I don't think that they like really practiced it. They're like, okay, we're gonna have it on a piece of paper and we'll just read it, and that's what it felt like when it was my graduation. But like I said, it was, in other words, for my husband's graduation. It's like, some of them are really awesome. Some of them are pretty awesome at their job, and then some of them are like, where did you get this person? If they can't speak in public, why are they speaking here? I don't know why I brought that up. Hey, if I'm correct, tomorrow is St. Patrick's Day. I wonder if St. Patrick's Day is one of those days that's solid. It's always on March 17th for, in Ireland. It's like always on March 17th. Or is it one of those things where it, like Easter, where it may be on this Sunday or it may be on that Sunday? I have no idea. But I was pretty happy because I finally got it to where I can log into Amazon again. I had an update on my computer, and I'm like, okay, let's do this update. Well, it didn't screw everything up like it usually does, but it did take longer than normal to... no, and it took less time than normal, because normally it makes me do it over and over and over again. Trying to log back in really makes me mad. And my husband was streaming at the time, so that was not the best time to do an update. I almost wish that they would make it to where they could do updates silently in the background. Okay, I don't know what's going on with my ear. I mean, I know I've had headphones on a lot lately, but, I mean, I usually do, but my ear's being overly sensitive, and I don't understand why. Okay. So, I was watching a video of Professor of Rock. I'm pretty sure that's him. I'm pretty sure that's his name. It's a YouTube channel, Professor of Rock. And, and he specifically said that he kind of thinks that the music died in the 2000s. His words, not mine. But, that's what he said. And then, because it's supposed to be of rock and roll. Um, um, anyway, he was doing a video the other day, or at least I saw it the other day, where he was counting down the, he was counting down some songs that he thought were, like, kind of, the background music was old and outdated. And it's like, there was a whole bunch of favorite songs on there of mine. And I'm like thinking, how could you say that that is old and outdated? It's almost timeless. It's like, wow. I still get the, yeah, I want to get up and dance to that, or I want to listen to that. If it's a song that, you just don't want to listen to again, yeah, it's old and outdated. But if it's something that, like, every single time you hear it, you want to get up and dance, or you want to sing along, or you just love the way the music is going, that's not old and outdated. That's like, yeah. I was just realizing that some of my speech is influenced by whatever is popular at the time. Like, yeah, and at one point in time, dude. It's like, I would have never thought to talk like that, before my cousin was like, that's what everybody's saying. And it's like, don't want to not be like everybody else. You don't want to stand out from the crowd. Wow. Anyway, I cannot wait until next month where, wow, a month from a month from the day after tomorrow, we'll be going on vacation. I still don't know how we're gonna get there in time because, like, we will start out early in the morning, like 6 o'clock, and still not getting there until 5 o'clock. And I don't see how. It's only like a 3-hour drive. But, we do go and stop for breakfast and dinner. Breakfast and lunch. Usually, so that'll probably be, that'll probably get factored in there. And I told my husband yesterday, he doesn't think that we should, like, plan things ahead, really. And I'm like, okay, so I want to go and figure out, what we're going to eat for breakfast that day. I want to go and figure out, there. I want to, like, kind of figure out what I'm going to do while he's driving, or am I going to drive too, or, it's just, a way to help me calm down, because I'm like, I'm wanting to go, but I'm also wanting to get this book done, and yeah. But yeah, so I just, I got like 7 pages done yesterday. Or almost 7. Something like that. But it's okay, because I got 3 extra pages done, the other day, so it kind of evened out. Anyway, I'm going to get as much of my book done today as possible, as soon as I'm ready to do it. And hopefully it'll work out the way I want it to, because I had 31 days, and I had we've only got like 33 days now. So that means that I've been doing 10 pages for like 4 days. And I, except for yesterday, I met my goal. Yesterday I had another cursed page. It just seemed like it did not, it wasn't as cursed as, it usually was, though. But anyway, it just seemed like it was cursed. Very, very cursed. Well, like I said, it wasn't as cursed as it could have been, so. Okay, that's the pleated part, or what I'm calling the pleated part, and then, yeah. It's kind of pleated like a skirt. And I think it looks pretty good, so. Oh, in case you haven't been watching my videos, like, forever, I don't know if you're, I don't know if anybody's gonna actually watch this one or not, but, in case you haven't been watching them forever, this is part of my Fictional Ireland build, as the title said. Fictional Ireland is the world for my stories, my books. And, it's like you say, the wonderful world of Harry Potter, and you know exactly what you're going to see. You're going to see Hogwarts, you're going to see Privet Drive, you're going to see, the Burrow, you're probably going to see the Ministry of Magic, Diagon Alley, Gringotts, you're going to see all those stuff. Well, I would love it if everyone would start buying my books, so then, it's like you hear Fictional Ireland and you know exactly what you're going to see. And I think I would love that. I really think I would love that. But I'm not going to love it if, like, if there's, like, one big mistake in there somewhere. I don't think there's going to be. But, if there's, like, one big mistake in my book somewhere and everybody notices, like the Star Wars movies. He made them a certain way in the 70s and 80s. Yeah, 70s and 80s, I think it is. And then in the 2000s, no, 99 and 2000. No. Okay, I don't know if it was 99 and 2000 or if it was just the 2000s. I can't remember right now. It's been that long. But, he redid parts of it so it looks even better. And that's his world. That's not the fans' world. That is his world. And whoever decided to sue George Lucas because he changed his stuff, and the judge said, okay, you get money. That's ridiculous. I don't want that to happen to me. So I don't want to, I don't want to have any continuity blew it in my story. Of course, half the time I'm saying that, people are wearing clothes and don't tell you what kind. I mean, I might focus on specific outfits of clothes when I'm writing the Sean and Ashley as younger people, because of the fact that Sean doesn't really see Ashley as a girl. He sees her as a best friend who doesn't use the same bathroom. A girl would be a dateable girl. Like, for example, if you've seen the movie She's All That, Taylor Vaughn would be a girl. And then Lainey Boggs would be the equivalent of the best friend. Well, actually, I think she was his best friend for a while there. Before she had turned into girlfriend material. Anyway, then Lainey's the best friend type, and it would be like a best friend that doesn't use the same bathroom as you. Because there's usually men's rooms and women's rooms. Of course, then there's family bathrooms, and I think somewhere in the world there's we don't care, just use the bathroom. Of course, there's also those family bathrooms because Like specifically Walmart, that's the one thing that they do good, when it's working, is they have that family bathroom. So, in case you have more than one child, you can go into that bathroom and, all take turns going, and then, anyway, see, the weirdest stuff pops into my head. Anyway, so I stayed up a little late last night until at least 1 something, and I made sure that that chapter that I'm going to be working on today gets finished. And then I'm going to work on the next chapter, and get that done. And hopefully, if that chapter doesn't, make 10 pages, then I'll work on the next one. I don't know. I'm gonna have to figure out I'm gonna have to figure out what page I'm on when I'm done with the 2 pages, and see if that's gonna put me back on track or not. It probably won't. I seriously hope that you cannot hear me breaking bricks, because that is something that drives me crazy. I cannot have those sounds on my video. I mean, when I'm playing Minecraft, I cannot have the sounds of it breaking. Some of the other sounds, and definitely not the placing of bricks either. I can't have certain sounds. They're too repetitive, and eventually they'll give me a headache. So I am so glad. Okay. I am so glad that they gave us a way to turn some of the sounds off. I like that. I'm sorry, Mojang and Microsoft. I cannot take those sounds. I'm not saying take them out of the game, though, because there's a lot of people that play with them on, and I don't know if it's like they don't know that they can turn it off. What? Oh, okay. I don't know if it's like they don't know that they can turn it off, or if they truly enjoy that sound, because I used to have the sound on, because it's like, okay, I understand that I placed that brick, and, the noise solidifies that for me. And then I was like, no, it's giving me a headache. And the fact that I'm building this is all my husband's fault, because he wanted to see what it looked like outside of my head. He wanted to be able to see it too. And I know, I've said that before, but seriously, he wanted to be able to see it too. And so I started building it, but I'd go and tell my husband that's not quite right. That's not exactly what it's like, And every time I build it, it gets better and better. Usually I concentrate on building town, and this time I decided not to do that the way that I usually do it, because yeah, we go to those places in town, in my stories, but the, um, and I wanted to go and put in the houses, and then I wanted to go and put in the high school, so I knew how, far back um, I knew how far back it needed to be, and then, because, over here, we need that cliff, I put in the cliff, so I don't have to worry about that either. Now I have a song I can't even understand stuck in my head. It's one of the songs on the Lord of the Dance video on YouTube right now. It was a videotape way back when, let me put it that way. Or possibly a DVD. But I think we had it as a videotape. Anyway, so we had to go and put that in, and one of the ladies has a very, I think, soprano voice, and, it kind of hurts my head when she sings. She sings very pretty, but it kind of hurts my head. So, so it's kind of nice having it in my head instead of, listening to it, because actually listening to that part of the video, because, like I said, it's, I'm not sure how to explain it, but she could probably hit some high notes if she wanted to. Let's put it that way. Anyway, so I'm going to have to go and bring this down to the point of, at least bring it down to that point over there. And then I'm going to have to put in some sand and stuff. And put in that grass and, all that. Because then we can have fish over there. Because, see, there's no fish here. And then over here where there's the grass, there's fish. Anyway, the whole thing of over here is I want to be able to build a little island. And I want to build the little island because Sean and Hayden get marooned on it by Morgan. She just goes and leaves them there. Because the thing is that in one of my books, Hayden has always been very loyal. He will, never cheat on Morgan. That's his girl. He's sticking with her. That's his wife. So he's not going to cheat on her. But in this one, he was kissing that woman, So, since he was kissing that woman, since he was kissing that woman, Morgan got super angry. And, ow. Okay, I understand why my right thumb hurt. No, okay, I guess both of them kind of have the same issue. I don't know why, but my, left thumb has kind of been feeling like it's a rusty hinge. Where it doesn't really want to, not it doesn't want to move, it's just moving a little funky, a little weird. So, it's like, when it's bugging me, put a thumb brace on it and it's all good, but it doesn't really help because then I can't do this and, I can't necessarily type and, stuff like that. Makes it hard to try to open the door. I don't know why, but I was just thinking of that, like, it's the thing that popped into my head. Jeff Foxworthy's got a bit in there where it was, I don't know if it was a Gillette razor, but it was some kind of razor. And it was, attention guys with noses. And he's saying, you know what? I'm pretty sure there's a guy out there and, something happened to his nose, so he doesn't really have one. And he's like, attention guys with noses, I'm not going to buy that product because, it's attention guys with noses, We used to listen to a whole bunch of different, like, we'd listen to the radio all the time. And, back when LimeWire was on, it might still be there, I have no idea, but, the thing was is that they, figured out that they didn't always have permission to be allowing that music to be downloaded. So, so before we found out it was bad, we downloaded a whole bunch of stuff. It's mostly stuff that we'd been listening to since we were kids. Like We Didn't Start the Fire and I had a audio tape of it was a whole bunch of it was probably an album, and it had a blue jean backpack on it. That's something that kind of bugs me, is that when they go and make they go make a album and it's like on audio tape, and then you go and look it up on CD and it's nothing like you remember it. 'Cause like the audio tape version has, if I remember correctly, a blue jean backpack on it. And then, you like go and look up the CD version and you're like, that's not the same thing. And then you find out, yeah, it is, but it doesn't have the same songs on it. Like, I think it's Wild Horse. Yeah, the original for Garth Brooks. The original was Wild Horses, and um, it was back when like CDs weren't very popular in our area of California yet, and McDonald's? Yeah, that sounds like something McDonald's would do. It was either McDonald's or Burger King. We'll go with that. Um, were like, if you throw in an extra $5, you can get this CD or whatever it was. And bless you. My poor cat, he sneezes a lot. Okay. Dang. There was a thing that, um, there was a thing where it takes out large chunks in a organized manner, but I don't remember how to do that right now. And it used a certain block. Um, okay. Oh, it's this one. I am so sorry. This is just me in the morning right now. I do know people in Texas, but I don't know what part. Bringing that up because that was the phone call just now. Now, if not that I wish for that to happen or anything, but if anything happened to my cousins and I was supposed to get money for that, I would hope that they would call up with a. Oh, it uses this, the end crystal, and something else. But I don't remember exactly what. Oh, I want that. I bet you it's not as comfortable as I want it to be, though. It was a jersey, and it said Disneyland or something on it, and it had like Mickey Mouse's face. Anyway, I am looking forward to finishing that chapter, and then maybe like maybe off stream I'll actually just listen to my stories. But I still need to catch up with the YouTube videos, and that's part of the problem. I need to catch up with the YouTube videos, and like in my um in my watching, the Don't Stop Meowing family doesn't have Giselle yet, and she's been born since last month or early this month. um That was funny because like the other week they took their son shopping so he could pick out a present for the new baby after she comes, you know. Um and he's like, he's usually a very sweet baby, and like, if you let him go shopping, he'd probably get something for everybody. But in this case, he's like, I want this. Because, he gets to go shopping like all the time with his parents, and then and they like every single time that they go to the book section, he gets a new book. Pretty much treats the book section like a library. But he wants to take it home with him, and sometimes it's like, we already have that one at home. And then it turns out that he gets a different book. But, wanting books is great, so it's not like that expensive Lego set. I don't like the Lego sets. I like the big bucket of imagination. I wasn't I always wanted the sets, but I knew they were too expensive, so I never asked for them. I like the big sets where, you can build anything you want. Of course, right now I want enough room to build um dang. Um anyway, I want enough room to build this whole entire build in um Legos as a train board, or to have the or to like have a custom um have a custom house uh build kit, something like that, for train boards. And that's what my husband would like to do if we ever got to get a house that had more room. We really don't need a house with more room, but but w- like, we need a house with more room, but we don't all at the same time. Very confusing, but there's just not that much room in this place, and we love it though. It's just a few little changes that we would make. Um, and if we ever get the opportunity, we will do some of them, like like the fact that we don't have a dishwasher, the fact that we need more cabinet space. What? Oh, okay. Like, looking at it going, I'm confused. Okay. Wow. It's already been an hour. That's the problem. You know, it's Minecraft Monday, so it's supposed to be Minecraft. So it's like, um, you know, how do you, uh, how do you take up the whole time without upsetting people because your video's taking so long? You really can't do that, you know? So, so yesterday I actually did not stream the whole time that I was, supposed to. I almost went all the way, but I didn't because I was just like, I need to work on my story. I do have the goal of trying to get that done before the birthday party, and I don't know if I'm going to make it. But I want to. I want to very badly. We're finally getting into the parts where I wanted to work on, where I want to work on it. But if I get 10 pages done, I am definitely going to work on finding love a little bit. I'm going to have 20 characters. I mean, 20,000 characters. So, like the letters. I can have 20,000 characters, and I was thinking I would put that into a generic audio file first, where it's just Sophia doing the telling of the story. So like if you've ever heard a Harry Potter book, or Percy Jackson, or or the Outsiders, it's got the one person and they're saying all the parts, and it's good. But if I ever get to share my story the way that I am making it right now, I think you'll be even more impressed because I actually have, female voices for the female characters, and I've actually got male voices for the male characters, and a lot of them are used over and over and over again, but like the Liam voice, that's used for a lot of people. But like if I had a smaller cast, it would probably work out perfect. But actually, I was actually thinking of, with the smaller cast, do I use this voice or do I use that voice? And I'm like, I don't know. Because I would like to audio the assistant manager and the cadet and the assistant manager, because that's the way that they come into the storyline, is the cadet first and then the assistant manager. And that is because I don't want them to be jumping. Oh, okay. Tree's done. Okay, I am sorry to all you tree lovers out there, because I do have to take that out, it's just not the thing to have trees out in the middle of nowhere like that. Hmm. I'm thinking something. I don't know. Okay, hold on. This might work. Um, okay, so that might work. I have no idea yet. I actually think it would probably be further out than that, but I'm not sure yet. 'Cause I need an island out there, and it's gotta be far enough away that they cannot swim to shore. It's gotta be far enough out that they can't swim to shore, but not too far away so it can't be seen from shore. I mean, it probably won't be seen from shore technically because it's Minecraft, but you need to be able to at least see it from a certain spot, and there we go. Yeah, I suspect I would have gotten more done yesterday, except for that I let Nash Bridges play while I was eating dinner. And for some reason, I just wasn't breathing very well during dinner, so I put my dinner aside. I'll probably try to have it for breakfast. Oh, I didn't think of that. Duh. Anyway, I'll probably end up having it for breakfast, and if I start breathing funny again, then I'll know it's the noodles. Or just me. I mean, I don't breathe very well in the first place. I do have hay fever, but, I keep getting told that that shouldn't be affecting me right now. But this is the time of year it affects me is during the spring. It does not affect me during the fall. Or it doesn't affect me as much, in the summer and early fall months. It pretty much affects me from the end of February to, somewhere in August, September. So I don't know if it's actually hay fever or if they just said, oh, it's the same symptoms, let's go for it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, let's just diagnose her with this, maybe she'll go away, kind of thing. It's like, I know there's something wrong. It's like, I know there's something wrong. And I just, I didn't try to argue it because it makes sense. My dad's got hay fever, and so did Grandma, so, I didn't think to argue it. But what if it's something else and I've been taking the wrong medicine for the right thing, or right medicine for the wrong thing? It's kind of the same thing. Anyway. But I actually haven't been taking that medicine because it's like, it, um, I haven't been taking medicine for it because it's like, the medicine makes me drowsy, so then I can't work on what I want to work on. No, 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 no. This. Yeah. There we go. So... Oh, so I know something that's gonna happen next in my story. Sean's gonna have a really nice dream that turns into a nightmare. I think I was telling you about it yesterday or maybe the day before. I still haven't gotten to that part yet, so I can't, quote it word for word or anything. I can never quote anything word for word, even though I wrote it. But, the thing is that, in the dream, they've just snuck away to a cabin in the woods, and it happens to look like the captain's quarters on ship when they get there. And then they're going to settle down to have some private time together, and it turns out that Hayden has a search party, and starts yelling at... he starts yelling that he starts yelling because Sean stole his daughter, and then it turns out that it's their honeymoon. They started out at the restaurant, and her dress is a little weird in that particular spot, and I went and turned the third nightmare a little different than what it was. It's going to be very interesting. But anyway, this is the dream that was supposed to be after it. I was going to name it Dream ? And then I was like, well, I'm not going to be able to put that as the I'm not going to be able to put that as the title when it gets into Media Player, so, because it won't let you put certain symbols in there. It lets you put hyphens, but like no question marks and stuff. Okay, I don't do very well underwater. Childhood trauma. And it's not anything that actually happened to me. It's what could have happened to me. And if my parent that was home at the time would have just been in there with me, he would have understood. Or she would have understood. I think it was mostly dad, though. Anyway, they would have understood, get that crocodile out of there, and it would have been fine. But yeah, they didn't want. He didn't want me making a whirlpool out of the swimming pool either, which makes sense. Whirlpools are no fun. Oh, and if you don't understand what a whirlpool is, oddly enough, go on to Disney Plus. I'm sure they have Fantasia. And the Sorcerer's Apprentice bit will show you what a whirlpool is, because toward the end of that segment, Mickey Mouse is having a big problem with this whirlpool. So the parts where where I say a word and I'm not sure if you're gonna know what it exactly means, and I tell you what it means, and if I don't know what it is, I will ask GOOGLE and hope that the answer is not complicated. But that part, I'm hoping somebody learns something. I'm not saying it to teach you something. It's just that I'm hoping that I'm not leaving people confused, because I know that there's other people out there. FWIP specifically. I'm sorry, I'm calling him out on this one. Just because he uses big words. It's like, this is Minecraft. There are probably a bunch of adults out there, but there's children that watch this stuff too. And they're not going to understand what feigned means unless you explain it to them. They're not going to understand, they may not understand gargantuous, or he uses a lot of big words. That's something my books try not to do. I try not to use really big words, because, nobody, not nobody, but, a whole bunch of people don't know what that means. And it seems like, why do people use big words? Because they want to sound smart. Well, I want you to understand what's going on in the story. So, I try not to use big words. Although, if you listen to the story versus reading the story, you'll notice that, like, Sophia, I don't know why she does this, but Sophia's my new narrator voice, and when it's was, she says it a certain way to where you could tell that it was in the past. But she's putting emphasis on that part of the story that doesn't make sense. So, you know, it's okay. Or like, you know, it's okay that she's doing that, but it's just, not exactly necessary. But then, like, Ashley is supposed to say, and, or, was it, or, maybe it's both. But anyway, she, like, kind of, oh, no, I think it's just, like, no. Yeah. It's, So, because in Esperanza's party, Johnny was demanding her out on a date. And she's like, no. It's not supposed to be, no. It's supposed to be, no. But, you know, she just won't say it correctly, so. Or like yesterday, one of the problems was, Sean and Jesse's voice, Derek. The words were back rub. Quote mark, back rub, comma, quote mark. All it was. Yeah, that jerk said back rub, back rub. And I'm like, okay, that makes no sense. But because I know this is a known issue and it's, you know, stupid, I just typed it in without the quote marks and it's all good. But before I discovered that it was stressful, now I just see it as he's being stupid. Okay. Dang. Okay, so the saved videos that I have for Pop's Disney Adventures, one of them's 5 hours, 23 minutes, and something seconds. And, I'm pretty sure at the beginning of this one, it was either at the beginning of this one or the beginning of the one before it, but I think this one, I could have sworn I saw, Chris from Park Pass on the video. And I thought that was so cool. Because even if it's not him, it looked like him. But I thought that was so cool. I would think that it would be even better if I could meet him, but, you know, don't have the ability to go to Disneyland right now. And apparently in his videos, he went to, what was it, Disneyland Paris and then Tokyo Disney, something like that. They're going to other Disney parks. And I think there was something in there with them at Universal Studios. Can't remember, but pretty sure it was Universal Studios. They're supposed to be having a fun fest or something like that. Fan fest at Universal Studios Hollywood right now. And I got all excited because the first time we went um, because we were going to, um, we were going to Universal Studios. I was not a big fan of that because I wanted to be in Disneyland. But, and when we went, to me, it wasn't that interesting. It was okay, but it really wasn't that interesting. The best thing there was the ET ride, and we wanted. Okay, so they had and of course it cost extra, but they had this big old slide, or um, might have been like a fun house, but anyway, it included a slide, and you ended up at the bottom, like where the tram is, and that was like way downstairs. And my parents didn't want to pay extra so we could do that, or like they'd be able to pay extra for two of us and not the other one or something like that. So they decided not to do it because, three kids, and it wouldn't be fair that some of us could do it and the other one couldn't, you know. Although I think my sister was like 5 at the time. And this was after she was, I think, 4 years old. And she had a penny. And she was standing in line to buy candy. So she was smart enough to be standing in line. But she literally had a penny. That wasn't going to buy much at all. Hopefully the person running that particular food booth thing would have been like, "Where's your mom and dad?" But yeah, I remember going to like a whole bunch of different theme parks. Well, maybe not a whole bunch of them, but there was Paramount's Great America in Santa Clara, California, and then of course Disneyland in Anaheim, California. And we went to Universal Studios that one time. In Hollywood, California. Although, okay, that's what I was going to tell you about, is that I thought, okay, Hollywood. They're always talking about Hollywood. They're always making it sound really awesome and everything. Like it's the Emerald City from Wizard of Oz. They're always making it sound really cool. Yeah, when we got there, it looked like that bus or train station that you do not want to have to stop at. I don't remember where we parked the car. I'm assuming it was a parking garage, but I don't remember parking it. I don't remember it. I don't remember being in a parking garage. Um, or maybe we just parked down the street. I don't know. I don't remember there being like like Disneyland where it's got the parking lot and stuff. I don't remember that. I just know that we went to the entrance, which is way down, and we had to go up that big old escalator. I don't think I could go on the escalator anymore. Or, like, my husband would have to be, No, I don't think I could go on that thing anymore. I'd have to see if they have some kind of elevator. Um, because I think I'd get seasick from being on the escalator so long. I don't know, but I probably would. There we go. Oh, I found out what happened in I'm gonna have to, I'm gonna have to say it a little bit different because, but anyway, I was wondering what broke Evan and Cassidy up, and it turns out that they had a bachelor party. They were gonna get married, Evan and Cassidy, and they had a bachelor party, and stupid Harvey, he knows that, he knows that Evan has a problem um, with, flirting with women and wanting to kiss them and stuff, but he goes and, has the bachelor party anyway, and there's this one girl, and of course, Evan goes and takes her home and kisses her. Well, of course, while Cassidy is walking in because, she can't sleep, she, really wanted to talk to Evan, but he wasn't answering his phone for some reason, and he was probably drunk. She catches him with the other girl. So that's what broke them up. So I'm assuming that if I put in that same disc, and we haven't been watching them I'll go and put a disc on. I don't think I took that disc out. Anyway, I'll put a disc on while we're eating dinner, and we'll watch the whole entire thing. Except for that, I usually fall asleep on it. But it's not because it's boring. It's just because it's 9 or 10 at night, and I'm tired. But yeah, I'm betting the next episode. I mean, one of the next episodes will probably show that episode that that episode that okay, so she's doing something in the kitchen. Couldn't really tell what, but anyway, she was doing something in the kitchen. Evan walks in, and they're talking, and then he's giving her a kiss, and then next thing I know, Nash is you know bleh. Nash is pulling him away from Cassidy. My husband said that she didn't seem like she wanted the kiss. I had looked away for a moment, so that does not help. But anyway, so I had looked away for a little bit. Probably working on my story, and so it turns out that Nash walks in and pulls him back, and holds his arm behind him, and in a menacing manner, like bad guys do, and on movies, and and throws them out. But I don't remember. I mean, I didn't get to see the whole thing. Like, why? So, like, maybe I'll put on, the disc that is in the machine, because, I better take it out, though, at the moment, because I think it's probably, you know, uh, I would think that maybe it would be melting. I hope not, because I've got all 6 seasons. Wouldn't want to have to go and buy that season again, so I have that episode. I had to do that once because I watched this one, or I did not watch this one episode. This one episode of the Dukes of Hazzard, I, for some reason, decided I did not like it. I don't think I'd seen the whole thing, but I decided I did not like it, and they were picking on Bo and Luke, sorry. I'm sorry, John Snyder. Bo and Luke, and I didn't want to watch it ever again, I didn't like it. Well, so I watched, like, all the other episodes, and that one will not play. So, for a while there, I was trying to get that one to play, and it just won't. So, we got a new season 3, and if I remember correctly, we got a new season 3, and that one plays just fine. That's something I haven't seen in a long time, is the Dukes of Hazzard. I like that too. I've got all 7 seasons. Yeah, got all 7 seasons of that. I've got all 4 seasons of Alf. I got both seasons of, all 2 seasons of the Addams Family. Um, I like the shows that I like. And, like, I still like them. I would love to be able to get um, Disney's Zorro on DVD, but the problem is that, um, people who do have that only have, only have it for, like, the one season's $100 and something dollars, or $200 and something dollars, whatever. Yeah, I think the one season was $200 and something dollars, and the other one was $300 and something dollars. And it's like, I would be willing to go there, but really, if Disney would bring it out on DVD, I would be so much happier. Or Blu-ray. I could play that too on my Xbox. And I'd be willing to buy the whole series. Um, because it makes more sense when you see the whole thing. Like, if I had the ability to do so, I would have one of those Samsung TV Plus channels, and I don't know if just Samsung TV Plus makes the money, or if the TV station does too. But, if I could, I'd have a TV station that has all of those TV shows on it, and, you would never know what's on. It wouldn't be a set schedule where, like, that Dancing with the Stars is going to be on Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. or whatever. I made that up, unless that's true, and then yay for me, because I didn't realize it was true. Um, okay. See, I'm just trying to get this, I mean, at the moment, I'm kind of just trying to get it to where everything above the waterline is gone. And then we can work on the under the waterline eventually. But like I said, I've got to go and put I've got to go and put a island over there. It's supposed to, okay, so it's probably going to be yeah, two jungle trees. Um, those two kind of trees. The really tall ones. Um, it's probably going to be that. It's supposed to be two. Oh, okay. You're fine. It's not what I was trying to get you to do. Okay, thank you. Well, just in case it comes back again, I'll keep the stairs handy. And I did not hit that, and it made a noise like I hit it. That does not make any sense. Um. Well, that's another thing that we could do um if we had a bigger house, or a house with a better layout at the very least. We could have bookshelves and be able to collect the books that we had before. My husband had, like, all except for 3 books of the Star Wars series, the original non-Disney Star Wars series. And then I had every single book of the Nancy Drew files. And I was wanting to collect the yellow books, the mysteries. They've also got paperback. After a while, they had paperback. They had some paperback mysteries. So they went into the 150s or something like that. Maybe the 200s. I think the 100 somethings. But anyway, it was a lot. And the Nancy Drew files go to 124. And I I kind of wanted to get the Nancy Drew um I kind of wanted to get into the Nancy Drew on campus. I assumed that was when Nancy Drew decided to go to college. I have no idea. And I know it's like so juvenile, but I kind of liked the Nancy Drew notebooks. The only problem is that the storyline wasn't consistent throughout. Um, like in the Nancy Drew files, she's just grown up with Ned all her life, so you know, eventually it's like eventually they figured out we like each other like that, and they started dating. Well, that kind of explains why, in one book of the Nancy Drew files, she's like, Ned, I love you, I love you, I love you. And then the next one, she's like, I hate you. She doesn't ever say, I hate you, but, she's like acting stupid. Um, in, in the 8th book, I can't remember what it's called. I really can't remember what it's called. But anyway, okay, so they're having like the big basketball game on um anyway at Emerson College. They're having like the big basketball game, but the problem is that somebody is doing whatever they can to scare the heck out of Ned's team. And for the longest time, Nancy thinks that Ned's friend did it. I think Ned's roommate. Anyway, he's a fellow person on the team, and the thing is that he had a college project where he needed the paper mache and stuff. Because at one point they like uh do the unalived body hanging from the basketball hoop, and Ned's friend happened to have all of the materials under his bed. So Nancy's like, he did it. And she's not willing to look for any more clues. And turns out, no, it wasn't him. I don't remember who it was, though. But anyway, Ned gets really mad at her, and Ned gets really mad at her, and they finally solve the mystery, but their relationship's on shaky ground, Or it was on shaky ground for most of the book, and then something like that. Anyway. Oh, this island that I'm thinking of putting together, I have to put it together, but the island that I want to put together is basically it's some sand and two trees. And at one point, I think it was Sean was trying to get Hayden to talk. Anyway, one of them was trying to get the other to talk and going, I wonder if this island disappears. And the other one's like, oh, wait, did you say something? Can't remember exactly. I haven't read that one in a really long... I haven't, edited that one in a really long time. So you may think that I just sit here and I type out the story and it's all good, and, I edit it a couple of times and it's fine. But there's a ton of editing involved. Not so much anymore because I can go and sit there and listen to my story and go, oh, that doesn't sound quite right, and change it right there on the spot. And then it's like, oh, that sounds great, and you leave it at that. Well, before I'd be reading something and I somehow did not, your dad, but I had YOU apostrophe RE. Well, when you're saying YOU apostrophe RE, you're saying you are. So, if you're saying you are dad, that's not okay. But if you're saying, go talk to your dad, then, you want YOUR. But for some reason, my brain thinks that they're interchangeable. So, when I'm typing, that's what it'll be. I ended up having to change one of those yesterday. I'm like, how'd this get past inspection? It's like that should have been something that got changed a long time ago. But it sounds the same when you're listening to it, so that's probably why I didn't catch it. But I've been trying to, like, basically read along in your book when I. Oh, you may not understand that now that I think about it because, those kind of books aren't very popular anymore. I want to go on the Disney site where those were and see if I can get Pete's Dragon and, um, Pete's Dragon, Mary Poppins, The Jungle Book, Cinderella, um, but there was Pete's Dragon and The Rescuers. I listened to Pete's Dragon so many times that the tape actually wore out. You could hear some of it and not all of it. Um, Something else I lost in storage. My dad had a tape where, and I don't know if you're even allowed to do that, but my dad had a tape where he recorded all of the sounds in the Pirates of the Caribbean ride, and I loved it. And then on the other side, um, of the tape was a bunch of songs. And when I was a kid, I didn't appreciate them because they were like Shenandoah. But definitely by a specific singer. But it was like, um, that's the only one I can remember right now. Anyway, and it was really, it was good music. It's um, just it was in storage, and I don't have that anymore. So, I'm kind of upset about that because that was my dad's tape, and I had it, and yeah, it's not like he's gonna listen to it, or not like he would listen to it if he had the opportunity, but it'd be nice to have it. We actually have a tape recorder because I wanted to be able to take stuff like that and put it on a CD. It's home video kind of stuff, and I wanted to be able to put it on a CD. I wish I would have had, like the tape recorder. But that probably would have ended up on that, um, that probably would have ended up on the stupid external also. I've got one external that's broken, and then I've got some others that are, that actually work. But external hard drives kind of suck because they do wear out after a while. And they don't tell you that. I think I've killed 2 of them actually. But there's a possibility that one of those was in storage because I don't think I have nearly as many as we've bought. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, see, I went and put this in the way that I was supposed to put it in, and then it goes and creates little, um, little spots where it's not in right. Wow, it's almost 10 already. Well, the more of this I get done, the less we'll have to do. And I know that sounds like such a duh statement, but the more of this that I do, the less we'll have to do later, and then we'll be able to go back to painting houses and building town and whatever else. Um, Thing is, though, that I don't like that bar being so small. I usually make the bar bigger. But it'll do kind of thing. Bars don't have to be huge. But there's supposed to be a liquor store behind that. Liquor is just a weird word, by the way. Oh yeah, there was another episode. It was weird. There was another episode where um of Nash Bridges where Joe's wife wanted him to have another baby. I mean, they want to have another baby, or at least she does. After a while, he's like, um, after a while, it's like, nope, don't want to do this no more. So, so, his wife decides it's his fault, and, they go to a special doctor for such thing, to make it easier, and I don't know if they get that way or not. I just know I remember there was an episode um, where Joe's wife is definitely not with him, and I think he was kissing on another girl, which seems really weird for a married person. But yeah, we really got to like watch those in order and find out what actually find out what happens. We've seen like season 1 and season 2, and that's and then this episode is season 3, and this episode is season 4, and that episode is season 5, and like all of the episodes of season 6, but none of it made sense. Because there's parts in those episodes that you're like, well, what happened? Because like we're watching this in season 3, and or like season 3 and season 4 or something like that, and Evan and Cassidy look like they're gonna get looks like they're gonna get back together, and then all of a sudden, you see the season 6 episode. I think it was. It might have been season 5, but yeah, so 5 or 6, and Cassidy's pulling a box out from under her bed, and she's going, "Evan!" and crying. So I'm like, what happened? There's people out there who know the answer. Please do not tell me. I will find out myself eventually. But, yeah. I'm like, what happened? I don't know. There's actually episodes of the Dukes of Hazzard that I think I have not seen. Or at least I haven't seen as much as the others. I could have sworn that they had a band at one point, but I think it turned out that it was a talent show. Um, I could have sworn. Yeah, we've definitely watched season 1, and of Dukes of Hazzard. We've watched like season 1 through 5, definitely. And then I think we keep starting to watch season 6, and then something happens, so we don't finish it. Because I know that I know we watched the part where where it's Bo and Luke and Coy and Vance. Okay, so it's Bo and Luke and Coy and Vance, and I I don't remember if they were like trying to. They're going up against Boss Hogg, of course, like always, but I want to say the Mean Green Machine was in there. If you don't know what that is, it's a weird army tank thing that allows them to like they dry the bad guys drove into the bank with the Mean Green Machine, and it had you press this button and the tray goes out and give me the money, and um so that's what happened on uh that one. And it's like no, and that's what happened on the first episode of Coy and Vance, and that blew up their blue car. So then that's what made them have to drive the General. Which I would have thought that they would have taken the General with them, but no. But it's like it's not really the show without the General anyway. So, if you don't know who or what the General is, it's their car with it's their bright orange car with the O1 on the side, and you know. I know, like, deep diehard fans will know this, and then the other ones will be like, wasn't that movie where Willie Nelson was Uncle Jesse? And the blonde Daisy? And I'll be like, yeah, but... And I think I want to say Burt Reynolds was, uh, Boss Hogg. But I couldn't watch it. And why couldn't I watch it? Because they were saying words that would have gotten them A, slapped by Uncle Jesse, and B, sent to their room for a month. It's like you can't just go and have a family that everybody knows and loves and turn them into people who use almost as much bad language as Deadpool. You can't do that. They did it, but you can't do that. And expect it to have any kind of success. Obviously, it did have some kind of success because I think it was on. I'm pretty sure it was on YouTube at one point, but notice it hasn't been back. Yeah, I could not watch it. I was just like, no, I'm not watching this. And then, what was the other? Oh, the other movie that was like that was Miami Vice. The original TV show had Don Johnson in it, just like Nash Bridges. And that guy, because I don't know his name, um, his partner. And it had Elvis, I'm going to call him a crocodigator because I don't know if he was an alligator or a crocodile. But anyway, I hoped that he was not a real. We'll just call him a crocodile. I was hoping that he wasn't a real crocodile. No, it's probably an alligator. I don't know. I think I looked it up one time and it says that Florida has both. So, anyway, I was hoping it wasn't a real one, but it sure acted like a real one. But they had him, like, people like chain up their dog, so it doesn't get out of the yard. They had a chain on him, and like he was all tangled up in the chain though. And I don't like that. But anyway, they made a movie out of it, and I'm like, okay, we'll give it a chance. Bad word, bad word, bad word, bad word, bad word every like 5 seconds. I'm like, no, don't need it. I mean, I could understand. I mean, I don't like it. I don't like it in Die Hard either, but at least his made sense. His signature line that starts with yippee, you know, that kind of makes sense. Some of the other words in that movie, make sense. But, when it's every 5 seconds like that, it doesn't make sense. It's like, why are you doing that? I can understand if you like, kick the coffee table and you're like, ow! And maybe instead of saying ow, you say something else. I can understand that. And I just got the idea. Okay, I just got an idea that maybe when Jesse's little guys are, when his sons are little guys, that maybe he kicks a coffee table, he says that word, and Chantel sends him to his room and puts him in the corner and says, boys, don't do what daddy did. They're like, we won't, mama. I put stuff like that into my stories. It's like, you don't just go and have the one group at the one time and You know what? I don't think this is gonna work exactly the way I wanted it to. I was gonna put that island right there, but I think we still need to go like around the corner and stuff. So I may have to go and put it out different. What is that? Like, what is this corner here? Yeah, okay. So technically, it's supposed to be that you. Oh, okay. Oh, I know why. Because I was putting this together, and that would look really funny if it was like fence. Yeah, okay. Anyway, originally I was gonna put the island out here somewhere, but then if you come on, I'm hungry. If you go out this far, and you go out this far, you really need to put the. Okay, so you really need to put the island out like here. And I don't know if it's going to be a connected island or what, but anyway, it needs to be like right there. Because they're supposed to be able to see it from like right here. Oh, no, 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 no. I hope they do not follow me. My doggies and kitty cats. My doggies and kitty cats. Well, let's see what happens if I... Right here. Okay. That was weird. Anyway. Yeah, I'm hungry. So, I think what I'm gonna do... I found the blue chest off stream yesterday, and the reason was because I was gonna record it, and I forgot to set it up. It was so stupid. So I'm sitting there, I was really, talking and everything, and then I was like, oh man, I forgot to set it up. So yeah. So I think I'm gonna stop for now. I need to go upstairs and I need to, get something to eat, and I need to finish my story. At least finish the chapter. I came up with that like 5 or 6 extra days. Oh, I had 6 extra days where I could do not the whole goal of 10 pages, and yesterday was one of them. So now I only have 5 days when I can do that. But yeah, it could be. Because I got like 13 pages done the other day. And I mean, I did. I got 13 pages done the other day. And it was really awesome. So anyway. Oh, I hope I didn't get you. Anyway. Um, you know what? I gotta go upstairs. I will be back, and then we'll finish this outro. Okay. I feel better now. Okay, so I was gonna say I write books and they are available on Amazon in hardback, paperback, and ebook. Um, they are The Rolling Sea, Beginnings, Book 1, Pirate's Daughter. Rolling Sea Beginnings, Book 2, Misfortune. Pirate's Daughter introduces the captain, and Misfortune introduces her boyfriend. And then there's The Rolling Sea Beginnings, Book 3, Hard Times, which introduces the first mate. The next one is going to introduce the navigator. And that is The Rolling Sea Beginnings, Book 4, Finding Love. But that one hasn't even been worked on yet. I think that, unless I filled in the gaps already, it's gonna be the problem of, or not the problem, but there's, I have to add to it. I think I did fill in the gaps, though. I don't know. Or like I got them to. I don't know. Anyway, we'll figure it out. And then later in the series, and it only got divided up like that. I think I just saw a guy in a tutu. Very weird. So I thought the guy in the tutu was maybe one of the walker runner peoples. Maybe. They were doing a 5K. The last video said it was a 5K marathon, I think. And Chris from Park Pass was supposed to be in that. I haven't watched that video yet, though. And then, like I said, I really need to go and turn all this off and concentrate on my story. Ooh. I don't know what that is, and it could be a bad thing, but I'm hoping it's a good thing. It was like a entirely green tree, and then it had flowers at the top of it. But sometimes things growing on your trees isn't a good thing because it's, uh, um, uh, I'm going to call it a virus, but that's not what I mean. Anyway, it's a bad thing, whatever it is. But I think this is a good thing. I don't know. But anyway, so they only got divided up because it's like the Morgan and Hayden books and then the Sean and Ashley books. And I am really struggling to, what do I tell you, what do I not tell you? Because one of the things that I want to tell you is definitely something that has to do with the island. And oh yeah, that's something that I added to my story yesterday. Okay, so Sean's having this really weird nightmare where there's like a whole bunch of Sean brothers. And so in there, I give a little hint to what's going to happen in later books, but you don't know it at the time. Um, the reader is not going to know it at the time. They're just going to be able to put the pieces together and go, "Oh my gosh, she gave a hint," you know. Um, and that was gosh, not what it could have been. I do not say OMG. And why do I not say OMG? Because um, I am a Christian and we just don't say OMG because, that's like using his name in vain kind of thing. And it says don't do that. So, anyway, um, anyway, so I put that little hint in there. There's okay, so there's at least three of the, uh, there's a whole bunch of guys and they look like Sean. Well, there's at least three of them. One looks dead on like Sean. One looks dead on like Jesse. Well, Sean but Jesse. And then, they're twins and they look exactly alike except for that Jesse has a little bit of blonde in his hair. So, so at one point it brings up a question and, their wives assure them that, assure them of the answer. I will put it that way. Just in case there is kids watching this at some point because, it could be that, they go, oh, that's Minecraft, So, just in case, I don't want to put, those details in there. But um, and then there's a dark-haired brother, and you're like, but there's only two of them. They're twins. Well, in another book, there's going to be three of them, and hopefully you'll start reading the books to find out which book has the third brother. And no, nobody got put up for adoption, just so, just in case you want to go that route. Oh, that was a weird thing that happened yesterday in one of the episodes of Nash Bridges. The guy who plays Angel, and I want to say he plays one of the characters in um, the Swilbra. May, no, Swill Brothers doesn't sound right, but maybe it is. Anyway, there's three brothers, and two of them are kind of really dorky, but that's on Adventures of Briscoe County Jr. Anyway, I'm pretty sure he's on that, but I'm not entirely sure. But um, anyway, the guy who plays Angel on Nash Bridges, they actually took the wings off so he could play, um, so that he could play his twin brother, and his twin brother's in there for a red hot second, and then the bad guy unalives him, and they're like, but this isn't Angel. Angel hasn't died. And so it turns out that the doctor was so desperate to have the doctor and his wife were so desperate to have a baby that they waited for somebody to have twins, and then lied to them and said that only one of them made it. So, so that gives me an idea, but I don't think I'm gonna go there. See, William was supposed to be twins, um, and like, I didn't write that into the story, I don't think, but, maybe there's a little bit of, anger toward William because, he was supposed to be twins, and, like, basically he ate his brother out of house and home, so then Anthony didn't make it. So then, it was going to be William Aaron, I mean, Anthony, Anthony, who is Anthony Rosano? Oh, okay, yeah, no, it's just DeZono, something like that. Anyway, that was, NCIS Los Angeles. The one episode where Gibbs was there. I think there's a Rosano too, though, or something like that. Anyway. Like, he was supposed to be, like, say, William Aaron or William Michael or something like that, and then his brother was going to be, Anthony Daniel or something like that. I don't know. But it ended up that, the one baby didn't make it, so, Anthony didn't make it, so they just had William. And so he ended up being William Anthony Pendragon the second, because he does not like being called Junior. I was thinking maybe we could, come up with a scenario of, somebody at the hospital wanted a baby so bad that they said that the one didn't make it and the one did. But I'd have to come up with something besides the doctor. So maybe, like, the nurse or something. I don't know. Same scenario, though. Thing is, that just reminded me of an episode of Night Court where this what's her name? Christine. Her name's Christine. Her husband wrote a book. And this other guy also wrote a book. And the guy was trying to sue him because it was like the same exact story. Literally the same exact story. With a little bit different stuff in it. Like the husband had, like, say, a little Dutch boy or a little Dutch girl, whatever it was, and Christine does not use bad language, so the judge at one point is like, "Could you just read it the way it was written?" And she goes, "I did." And he I think he looked at it and he's like, oh, okay. So, so basically, um, she got upset because he was spending more time with his book than her, and she's like, that stupid dang Dutch girl or whatever it was. And they're like, could you just read it the way it was written? And it's like, I did. So, I'm not saying. Hold on. Hello?
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 Hi, this is Susan with the Home Improvement Group. We are helping homeowners in your area get free, no obligation quotes for windows, roofing, and siding.
We don't own the roof. Our windows are great. They're awesome. They're better than awesome. And we don't own the outside. Basically, we don't own the outside of the building, which is stupid. I think that is totally stupid. Especially since the one time they were taking all of the awnings off of the um, they were taking all the awnings off of the back porches, the grass side porches, and we're like, why are they doing this? Because the rain's gonna come in. The rain. I mean, the rain came in one time, and we had the awning on there. Um. Anyway, I was telling you about my books, so let's go back to that. Then, um, you know, it's just the difference between the Morgan and Hayden part of the storyline and the Sean and Ashley part of the storyline. You know, so the other books are the Rolling Sea Traitor series, and that is Esperanza's Party, The Island, Lessons in Love, and Test in Love is the one that I'm working on right now. I'm on page 160 something. Hold on. You know what? Let's just bring that down. Okay, I'm working on 162 right now. And I am pretty dang happy about that. I wish it was 262, but, there's just so many hours in the day. So that's why it's taken a little longer. But also, you got that one page that just seems cursed. And, you fix one thing, and then there's another thing, and another thing, and another thing, and another thing, and it just keeps going, and, you finally get it fixed, and you're like, yeah! And then you need ice cream. So, actually, if I need ice cream again, I may just walk to the store, make sure I have a spoon with me, and, only problem is that yeah, that's what I thought. Oh, Hawthorne, Nevada! I'm exaggerating a little bit, but there's only like 5 people in Hawthorne, Nevada. I'm totally exaggerating. I know that there's more people than that, but not by much. They had a little store, and they had little Ghostbuster plushies, and I think it was Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. And I wanted one so bad, and we could not afford it. Um, just sometimes it's really fun to have a plushie. But then on the other hand, because like when you're having a bad day, your plushie understands. Your plushie will understand, and your plushie will give you a hug and, you know, try to make you feel better. Or if you're lucky enough, your cat or dog can do the same thing. Cat, dog, horse, whatever. Um, my Jeopardy game was saying that hamsters are nocturnal and can be cranky during the day, and I'm like, I didn't know they were nocturnal. Of course, it also says that Billy Joel is a pop star. I don't think of him as a pop star. I think of him as a rock and roll. And, like, maybe Michael Jackson could be, thought of as a pop star. Maybe Mariah Carey. Um, you know, that kind of music. But Billy Joel writes rock and roll. He's even got a song. I was thinking of it earlier and I can't think of it now. Oh, it's still rock and roll to me, which, makes sense because he sings rock and roll. So if they could do an update for that one, it would make a lot more sense. He's not a pop star, he's a rock star. There was something else on there that I was like, that's not exactly right. But it's mostly, little things like that where they're like saying he's a pop star. It's like, no, I cannot imagine him going up there doing some, Taylor Swift, um, um, actually, I don't know what Taylor Swift does on hers, so we'll move to, I can't see him going up there and doing some Britney Spears moves and, like that. Britney Spears is pop, um, I think. Um, you know, Billy Joel is rock. That would be like, okay, well, okay, that did happen, but I just thought of that. Yeah, that did happen. Okay, Billy Ray Cyrus did turn rap star. Well, I don't know star, but he did turn his achy breaky heart into a rap song. And excuse me, if Billy Ray Cyrus is ever watching this at any point, or anybody who knows him, I liked it a lot better when it was when it was the original song. I do not like the rap version. The rap version is horrible. I don't know if horrible is exactly the right word, but I didn't like it. Um, it wasn't the same. I liked it. And, I liked "Don't Tell My Heart, My Achy Breaky Heart." I love that one. And I don't understand why he was a one-hit wonder for that. I thought, if he did good on that one, he'd do good, on others. But they're calling him a one-hit wonder, and I'm like, what the heck? Of course, there's a lot of songs that I didn't realize were one-hit wonder bands. I love their song, whatever it is. And they're being called a one hit wonder now, and I'm like, really? You know, like the one band, that was the only song that they ever made. And I'm like, really? I thought they'd be making other songs. They did so good on that one. It's weird. So I do try to come up with different nonsense every day. So anyway, then I have a children's book called Adopted Coral. Well, the series is Adopted and the book is Coral. Okay, so apparently now that I have gone upstairs, I'm ignoring the fact that I need to eat. 'Cause it's almost 11, so might as well go to 11. Um, anyway, I wish I had Fillmore Wondershare back because then I could go and like break it up a little bit. Like have the whole thing and then um like have the words full version on there and then have or like have it say full and then have it say uh have like part 1, part 2, part 3, whatever. But I don't think I stopped talking long enough to break something up, so I try to keep you entertained. Because this isn't necessarily the most interesting thing in the world. But it is getting better. I mean, it's getting to where there's less stuff here. And um, Bobby's snoring. Anyway, um, it is getting to where there's less stuff here and we can eventually move on to something else. So anyway, my books, most of the hardbacks are $26. Well, no, half of the hardbacks are $26. The other half are 24, 25, and 27. Lessons in Love is 27. So, okay, let's put it this way. Pirate's Daughter is 26, Misfortune 26, Hard Times 26, Esperanza's Party for some reason is 24, The Island 25, Lessons in Love 27, and then they would not let me make a hardback of Coral. And then all of the novels are $20 for the paperback, except for Adopted Coral, which is only $6. Wonderful bargain, in my opinion, and I still think it would make a great Easter present. I want to say GOLGLE said that Easter was like April 5th. Hold on, let's check it. Hey Google, when is Easter? Yeah, Sunday, April 5th. It's usually always on Sunday. Um, I'm going to say usually because eventually there's probably going to be a person that's like, what if it was on Monday? Or what if it was on Thursday? Yeah. I want to say that there's enough church going peoples in America that it's going to be like, no, it's on Sunday. But I don't know. Um, anyway, then the ebooks are $3.05 for Pirate's Daughter. Misfortune is $5. Hard Times is $5. Esperanza's Party is $3.05. $3.05. The Island and Lessons in Love are $5, and then Coral's book is $2.99. Now, I had to price it the way that I did, so I get even. I mean, for the hardbacks and paperbacks, so I get $5 out of the deal. And I don't understand because they like the printing cost is so much. So like the printing cost is $10 on the hardbacks and paperbacks, or $10 and something cents. And I'm like, okay, I get $5 out of the $10. I mean, out of the money. So where's the other five going if it's a paperback? Costs about $10 to publish it, to make it a book. Um, okay, so the whole thing's $20. Takes $10 to make it a book. So are they taking $15 because $10 to make it a book, and they get the after giving me $5 they take the rest? I'm not sure. Anyway, I was getting a better deal. I was getting like $7 a book or something like that. I was getting more money. Um, I put me on the 70/30 plan, where I got 70, they got 30. But I don't make very many book sales. So they went and switched it to where I'm the 30 and they're the 70, or 60/40, something like that. Um, anyway, I don't think it's really fair. They're not doing anything but publishing it, so. But at least something's better than nothing. And so far, I haven't made enough to pay taxes on it. So I would love to have to pay taxes on it because that would mean that I've made enough money to help. I want to be able to help pay the bills. I want to be able to make sure that we get to keep this place because they are going to put a lien on it or have put a lien on it or something like that. I don't know what that means. But anyway, yeah, we need the help. Please. Um, and I'm not giving you a ridiculous thing where, like, if you buy five of my books, you get a discounted 10%, like somebody else I know. Um, okay, so literally, Preston and Brianna plays. Um, she's like, buy five things and you get 50% off. And it's like, well, you're getting 10% off of the five things, but you're still having to buy five things to do it. Um, eventually, maybe I would be able to do discounts and stuff like that, but I thought it was ridiculous. I mean, I think it's ridiculous because you have to go and buy five things to get the 50, or the, no, and it was like less than that. It was like 20% off or something. I don't know. Anyway, I've watched that commercial like 16,000 times, and I'm exaggerating a lot on that one. But anyway, I've been watching that for the longest time. I ought to know what it is, and I don't. But anyway, it wasn't very much. It's like you buy, you know, four things and you get 10% off, and you buy five things and get 20% off. So it sounds like a really great deal. No, it's not. I mean, unless you were going to buy those things anyway, it's not a good deal. Or at least it doesn't sound like a good deal to me. Although I'm not going to quit watching them just because they're making what sounds like a really bad deal. You know, because you gotta buy that many things to get that deal. So if you're not buying that many things because you've only got a certain amount of money, um, you know, like you can't afford to buy 5 things, then it's not gonna work. You know, you don't get a discount because you can only afford to buy the one thing. You know, it's like I kind of think of it this way that rich people, and I don't know that they're rich, but I assume that they are because they're able to do all that crazy stuff. And you know, they've never said anything about having an outside job. They've never said anything about having an outside job, so I'm guessing YouTubing is their only job. You know, I think I would be willing to promote other people's channels on my. I mean, I have. You know, I mention people on my channels all the time. You know, like Park Pass. Um, I usually call him Chris from Park Pass because it used to be, okay. It used to be Provost Park Pass, but nobody could pronounce it. And I like to think that maybe I contributed to that because I was having trouble too. I did figure out how to say it, but I was having trouble with it too. So it's pretty cool that they busted it down to Park Pass. But then they said something about they're the only ones allowed to be Park Pass. And I've noticed that there's a whole bunch of people that are Park Pass. So it's like, you know, is that true that you can be the only one that's Park Pass? Because, you know, there's a whole bunch of people like Park Pass TV. And that's definitely not them, that's somebody else. Um, you know, it's not the Provost family, it's somebody else. And so I'm like, okay, if you're the only ones that can be that, do I need to start telltailing when I find somebody that's named that name, or do um, I leave it and not say anything? You know, I don't know. Anyway, so if you are watching me on Twitch right now, please follow and chat. And if you're watching me on YouTube right now, please like, share, comment, subscribe, notification bell, and as soon as it's 11, we'll end the stream. It's in 5 minutes, don't worry. Anyway, you know, I'd like to mention the ones that I like to watch all the time, or maybe the ones that I, you know, the ones that I watch for news about the video game that I'm watching. So, well, okay, Suro and Mr. Star and Sky, they are both ones that I like to watch. But sometimes, you know, sometimes they'll say something, uh, well, Mr. Star and Sky mostly, he'll say something, not the right, you know, not the right way, and I'll be like, iron, iron. But that's actually a accent issue, and the thing that, you know, his second, well, in theory his second language is English. It might be a third, I don't know. Because he is originally, I think he said, from the Ukraine. And then, and that's part of the reason why I started watching him. Because he had a cool accent. I like watched him one day and I'm like, yeah, let's watch this guy. And then, and then, uh, oh, yeah, I think for both of them, there was actually something that I was trying to figure out how to do on Dreamlight Valley, and their name happened to pop up, and I was like, okay, I like these two, I'll keep these two. I found somebody else, and I was watching her for a while, and it's pretty cool because they have all kinds of, I mean, she has all kinds of coffee things for her, like the stickers or whatever for the different membership tiers. She's got like coffees, so she always so anytime she gets a new member, it's welcome to the little brew crew. Anyway, she sings it a lot better than I do. Um, it's awesome. But I noticed a lot that she was like down with Eric because he's white. And I was like, I don't need that toxicity in my life. Toxicity, however you say that. I don't need that. I'm sorry, I am white and I don't appreciate, when people. I mean, and it doesn't even have to be black people not liking white people or white people not liking black people. It can be like, you know, for example, a Hispanic person not liking somebody from China. It could be something like that, but I don't need that kind of stuff in my life, so I stopped watching her. And then, I was watching. I don't know. I want to say I was watching Miss Cupcake for a while there. Watching somebody. Anyway, I was watching somebody that they were always talking about for a while there, and I was just like, you know what? This is too many videos to try to catch up on, and I need to back up on some of it. And literally, I've got like the whole entire "Don't Stop Meowing" family on my on my YouTube. Subscribe to like every single one of them, um, or almost every single one of them, because I don't have Pops on there. But and I wish I did sometimes, because like he'll be doing a Snapchat or whatever it is in the background, and I'm like, what is he doing? What's he talking about? And I'm just curious. But he's like heavily into sports, so maybe I don't need that. I don't know. But I do have a lot of their family on there. And sometimes I'm like, okay, I am so over watching this set of videos because first of all, the mom talks in Arabic and I don't understand Arabic. Not all the time. Mostly she uses English, but every once in a while she'll just do a whole big segment of her video in Arabic, and I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. So she could be like saying, down with white people, and I would never know that. I'm just saying, she could be saying that. But I don't think she would. I'm hoping she wouldn't, but she could be saying that. Um, I'm not saying everybody should speak English just because I speak English, but it would help. Um, Although it was kind of interesting because when I was recording at Disneyland that in 2000. Um, I would have preferred for them not to be talking at all whatsoever. But there was these two people, two ladies, and they sounded like they were talking about their day. I have no idea what they were really talking about because they were talking their native language. Um, I have no idea what they were talking about, but it just sounded like they were talking about their day. Like, yeah, and Sally did this at school, and yeah, we're gonna meet up with Sharon later, and it just sounds like that kind of conversation. And I'm like, okay, you're at Disneyland. You are on the Pirates of the Caribbean ride. Everybody loves the Pirates of the Caribbean ride, and why would you be talking about your day like that? Just doesn't make any sense. But that's just what it sounded like. It could have been like, oh my gosh, we're about to go see Jack Sparrow. That was before Jack Sparrow was there, but, it could have been something like that. Um, I have no idea. Anyway, I better stop this stream because I'm hungry and I'm going to try to eat my spaghetti. My husband was so sweet. He made spaghetti, right? And then I started not being able to breathe properly and it got me a little worried because my HG system was, how many breaths has she taken? And it said like 16 and I'm like, oh, that's not necessarily good. Because I was like, the whole time, like I had been running for a mile and um yeah, I didn't quite understand that. But nothing hurt or like, had sudden jolts or something like that. So I think I'm okay. It's just my breathing is weird, so um I eventually figured out that I'm not going to eat the rest of the spaghetti, so I put it in the fridge and hopefully I'll be able to eat it, um, for lunch, breakfast in a minute here. Well, in a few minutes here. Okay, I think that is empty. These kind of trees. This is the tree that I was talking about. I will probably put two of these trees on here. I mean, on that island, and hopefully it'll be good. Um, I could go and do something really ridiculous and make it to where um I could do something really ridiculous and not finish my story on time. I gave myself the dead the deadline, so I can break it if I want. But I might go and work on the that's what I wanted to do yesterday and the day before that is I wanted to get done with the 10 pages in Test and Love and then work on a little bit of Finding Love. I just want to go and put as many chapters in one sitting as possible and just put it together real quick and see what happens. What it sounds like. If it sounds good, if it sounds bad, if it what does it sound like? Um, I just want to do that so I can do um, I could do the rough draft try now where it doesn't have the girl voices and the boy voices separated. It's all the narrator voice and it's all good for now. And then, actually bust it up the way that I'm busting it up now. Where like Sam Crenshaw has his own voice and Sean has his own voice and Ashley's got her own voice and etc. etc. And if I ever get to actually publish audiobooks, I will I mean, if I can go and take the voices that I have right now and make them audio voices. I mean, an audiobook. Because I'm making an audiobook, but it's for my own personal use at the moment. Because I don't know. It said that if I got the next tier, the next tier up, that I would be able to have the authority to use it as an audiobook. And I don't know where I was looking. I was going to make an audiobook and somewhere, and I'm afraid that I don't have the authority to do so. Like I don't have the permissions. Um, because I was supposed to get a certificate thingy saying that I was supposed to get a certificate thingy saying that I could use them as well, it said like you're making a short little video and you're like making a meme out of it and using it that way. But I want to use it as an audiobook. I don't know. So anyway, okay, let me finish this, get this down to the bottom, and then we'll stop the stream because if I don't stop it now, I will just never stop. But like I said, I'm gonna finish that chapter today, and then put it all together. It was only 4 and a paragraph, 4 pages in a paragraph, I think. So like 4 and a fourth pages long, and then I don't know how long the next one is, or I don't remember how long the next one is, but it wasn't very long either. Okay, so I had 18 pages the other day. I did 13 of them, and then I've probably gotten to the end of the one. I mean, the end of the 18. Okay. I don't know if I've gotten to the end of the 18, but I think I have. So. So, is there suddenly a walrus in here? Or is that the up there? 'Cause it sounds like the panda's being a bully. What is going on up here? Oh, no, they're probably being bullies. Look, cats and dogs living together. Okay. That was a Bill Murray line from Ghostbusters 1. Ghostbusters 1? No, it might be Ghostbusters 2. Which one is it? It's the one with the slime. It's the one with the slime. The purple slime. Okay, so I've told you about my books. I've rambled as much as I can, and it is indeed food time. So I will see you in the next stream or video.